Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Megawati. I want to present my result with the name classification of the occupant position ventilation in the library in the under-acted zone using the Kenner's network method. This is my background of my paper. Indonesia is one the country tried to recover from the COVID pandemic. Several sectors began the activity move the world the life of the new normal. One of them is the lecture activity held on Trilogi University, Jakarta. Students can take care of the academic activity both in face-to-face learning in the lecture, tutoring, and discussion when the partially online learning was carried out. Trilogi University product facility in the from a library, then I support the need of the lecture activity. Currently, is the Trilogi University as the heating, ventilation, and air conditioning HPIC system as an air conditioner. There, there as the HPIC system in Trilogi University Library is still traditional, using can the turn off, turn on, and control the room temperature using the button in the library walls. This makes the library flow on a hot and cold temperature not the optimal. Sometimes in a room temperature is cold enough and good for the storing book, but not regularly in temperature for the human body. It also had an impact on energy expert that is considered like optimal. Other factors can also affect the comfort of the library visitor than activity indoors. Formulation of the problem. Based on the background that has been detailed, there is a formulation in the problem student the option named how a system can be detect the pressure, the number of the people in the room, case in the library. When the pen face Internet of Things application can regulate the air condition, need a calculate to the distance between human and nearby fans and the B calculate on data that will the affect room temperature and energy emitted on HVAC. Limit study with a method where the detect system from the pressure of occupant ventilation in K-nurses network method. When the classification of the occupant moving data in under-acted zone in carry out of using dBm signal. Design of the regate to as the access point give the one that enter the library. Visitor will be give a signal to revolt the fence, and the signal will be managed into data on the number of visitors in the each fence. Purpose of the paper. Did the student and the product a classification that can determine the number of the region of the under-acted zone again library ventilation. Next, methodology. The methodology study collects the overall stage. The stage will the classificate on ventilation of the occupant opposition in the library. Let's address zone using the method K nervous network. That a first stage is study. 1. Data extraction. This first stage begins the data extraction as a data retrieval and collection. 2. Classification. The grouping of data when the student study as the K-nearest neighbor method. 3. Error data. Knowing how many errors the data processing process give on the system. 4. Validation data. With the random entry, the original data has been calculated the data classification of the process. Next, data acquisition. This program data acquisition, this college of data from the information the form of the value of the device. The system is the study on carry out of Internet of Things using a Wi-Fi network sensor to capture the value at access point. This value captures the form of the signal strength. The wireless adapter will then read the co-occupant present at university's library in Trilogi. In the data collection, simulation carry out directly on the location. This application uses main signal define a next occur in using network called into light. And because this application can be adapter or capture signal from the simulation in access point through mobile phone is as the place as signal which the placer under the library ventilation. This simulation application is placed a random position on the ring of value that unit receive on the from the signal strength, namely dBm, aka disable milliwatt. There are eval objects that become value ID, position, RSE AP1, FQAP4, limit IP4, and the RSSE IP2, FQAP2, limit AP2, RSSY AP3, FQAP3, and limit AP3. There are several phases in data refer when the process dropping value, namely the similarity of size, the dBm signal strength. The strength of signal updates the access point. Their gradient of value receive the access point as signal reference of Wi-Fi adapter in just to be works. In the research conductor Eko Prayono explained how bad a signal strength give a mobile phone in the form RSSI as follows. If a very good with a minus 70 dBm, will category minus 40 dBm to minus 85 dBm, enough 86 dBm to 1000 dBm, by 100, I mean this 100 dBm. Therefore is 110 dBm. Data collection was a career connectionally from the 1 week on the uptime in the Trilogi University Library. Data will always be recorded the eval exchange for moving the value has an access point. One ventilation near access point will the device 330 record has to 9 record have to be collection. Next, classification. This classification canary network is one of the well-known no parametric classification method when the equal the easy algorithm in problem solving when it's capture grouping about a certain class is a similar and different. KNN using the concept is find the closer network and classification based of a similar that in the upfront of a give us point of the training data to be in a classification in test data. The internal exploits is a give a new point the trained data to be using the classification of a test data. The value looked at determined by the equal format key where n. This format about determine a value of a k when the amount the data using this study. The data about a previous pro process will be carry up a spin data set of sharing, training, and testing data. In study, using a 18 data collection from the training and 20 of testing data. Data calculate and closer the distance between of the training test data in the study using the Equan Euclidean distance method. It is about Euclidean distance method and the process of Kenner's network method is a determine of classification and occupant moving data in the under-actuated zone scenario of the using DBM signal. After the method parameter k, the mass of the equidistant of calculate using the eq1 of format again and the explain train the data. The next step to show a result of the collection calculate and distance start from the similars. After that, process the search by receiving the nurse network object from the training and testing data. The series of a process will be prone as calculate result to determine the detection of region in the library Trilogi University Jakarta. Next step is error data. In the process, classification data testing the carry of a calculate error value in the process. This is error using the mean absolute error MAA. That a methodology incorrect capable of calculate absolute error based on prediction. On the format above, MAA is intuitively calculate on saves the error the way of send of calculate data. So in the study, KNN calculate data will be testing for foreign case using error overall data. Next, validation. After get the final result of calculate number testing of data, that is a process part of classification calculate using the front metric and retrieval of data direct testing. When the calculate is oxidized, quite easy on data implementation. To measure and the process of a k-nearest network algorithm using the server method as the actually pressure recall F1 score. As the for the data testing, I have 50 data create this are take the directly to either ensure a process of the algorithm running well. Next, I want to tell you about my research that this came from the research of research has been carried out using from a k-nearest method. The system will be using the Jupyter Notebook, web aplikasi from Python programming dan Feral several library that complying the system name NumPy, Panda, Skitlearn, Seedbird, Matplotlib, and Proti. And the discussion data that is 90 data collects and follow that is picture. That is data collect at 30 uh, option from the access point to 3 fans in the library of Trilogi University Jakarta. This data divided into two, namely training and data as a ratio 80%, 20%. The nearest neighboring value is a 4. When the access point data is worth an old number, so far that is determined using the eval number. Based on a picture above, expand 90 data as a box-shaped collection, 72 data and 18 data and a circle shape. From the 18 data is a expand how to from the 6 box and access point 1. Moving the right getting location is a file height value in the class. Across a number 5 set access point 2 moving a left that is called a small class, and the 3 access point is number 7 plus is located freely in the left side the lower on the class selection. In the testing of the data products, 1,100 access point value the testing data, 0 crash testing. The result that is testing can be seen and follow. In the fan 1, predict and true positive value, so-called a fraction of a 1.000 is true positive value of 1.00 and harmonicity value and between fractionally and recall is of 1.00. However, it's a ventilation to a system above the with correct prediction value of 1.00 and really have a of 0.18 then after the value of f1 with the 0.x9 can be the system rate 1 data detect offense is should not be. That is ventilation 3 is prediction is 0.88 in actual value in 1.00 and f1 value is 0.93. After the composite metric calculate product using the Bayesian, recall an f1 score, calculate is all the access point is point value 0.944 or 94 accurate of our error value using MAA is worth 0.055%. That is data testing a format. The test of value of a system. Test is made from real data collect 5D data. M is 5 data as access point. Data ventilation data using RSS 1, limit 1, RRSE limit 2, RSS SE3 and limit 3. This is a table about my real data. It is actual value is ventilation 1 and its classification value is ventilation 1. The attack of a real data is a process. Result of the test produced on the same value that as calculating data name is a ventilation 1 that is a process in condition of 100 success. And the table 2 is actually value ventilation 2 and system rate calculate ventilation 2. This test also take up from real data testing, but the process that result of a test produce the same value data is a calculate classification data name is a ventilation 2. That is a process in consider 100 success. In stability, actualized value is ventilation 3 and classification rate ventilation 3. Likewise, with the actual data on a vent tree, that is test produced on the same result as the classification, namely ventilation 3. That a result the data ventilation testing 50 data and runs a same classification and the actual value. 50 of 50 data decline success of 100 accurate. And the last, concatenation. The study analyze classification of occupant position ventilation in the library in the under-actual zone using the nurse board method. Start the system can be implemented and can be applied in a real scope. Signally, on the factor result on the expert the data input that all we carry out can be deployed in the using the Internet of Things. And the next testing product process is expand to be able to create a prediction system to be ventilation of system determine design who move the into a room that using HPIC is my reference. And the last, I want to say thank you for the watching. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.